Hello, so today I'm gonna try this new Monster energy drink flavor. It is Ultra Strawberry Dreams. It is a very pink can, but it's like a lighter pink than the other one that is like something punch. This one, it has vitamin B, taurine, no sugars, and yeah, that's that. I really like the design. I like the color too. Like this feels very, although I will say that if I saw this as a kid, I would definitely think that this was for me. So there's that. But yeah, but I like the design. It's very reminiscent of I don't know, of a childhood. Like this looks like kind of like a type of cartoon that you find in your notebook or whatever. Also is like a baby pink, which I really like. Actually no, I think this is darker than a baby pink, but I have a little bit of an issue with the color. So like whenever I see something pink, I want it, I want to buy it. So I saw this and I'm always like looking for like new flavors, so I'll have this anyways. But like I was very excited. So yeah, strawberry. I really like strawberry. I think that I don't know if I would call it my favorite fruit as of right now, but when I was a kid it was my favorite. And also like the thing with strawberry is like even the artificial flavor I like. I like it, but like the real thing is like much better. It's kind of like watermelon, like I like the flavor, but when it's actual watermelon, it's like it's very superior to the regular taste. But yeah, anyways, enough about that. So it's a baby pink color. I really like this color. It doesn't look as good on camera than it does right here, but let me try. Oh yeah, also let me see what's written here. So it's a liquid compost ready for consumption, based on taurine and caffeine, strawberry flavored. It has it is artificially colored, and it has sweetener. Okay, that's good enough. I mean that's usually kind of like the deal. And it says here no sugar was added, which something else was added. So I'm not like looking at this and being like, oh, this is healthy. It's not, but whatever. It's very pleasant. You can definitely taste like that. Like energy drinks, they have this kind of like aftertaste, which I think is a mix of probably the taurine, the caffeine. So like it's very characteristic, at least to me. And you can definitely taste it here, which is not bad. Like I'm expecting that, but there's been some flavors lately that I haven't really been able to taste that. For example, the last one which I tried, which was a citric flavor. They didn't specify the flavor. They just said it was citric. Oh yeah, also by the way, regarding that one, like I didn't really taste orange, but then I gave my dad so he could like taste it, and he tasted the orange, so it could be orange. This also like this flavor. It tastes like something familiar. I just can't think of what right now. Candy. It does taste like candy, but like not your regular candy. Usually there's like yogurt candy, and it kind of like tastes like that. It's very pleasant. So I was going to say you probably shouldn't give this to a child, but like if I were a child and I drank this, I'll be very happy. But yeah, but it is a very it is very artificial flavor of strawberry. I will say though that I kind of like, because strawberries, they can also have like little sourness to them, but like a good sourness. I think it really balances the sweetness, and I can definitely taste like a little hint of that. There is this candy, it's called azedinha, which is literally translates to like your little sour thing, and that is flavored strawberry, and like this tastes just like that. And I really like the one because while I enjoy strawberry, the flavor of strawberry, I do like it better when there's a little not citric, but a little sourness to it, when it's just strawberry, like it's just sweet. I mean, if it is the fruit, I like it, but if it is it's artificial strawberry, like it tastes a little bit too, not too sweet necessarily, but like it's a little too much for me. So but I'll definitely recommend this. I probably give this like, this is a solid 8.5 actually. I will say that when it comes to flavors and my ratings, they're kind of all over the place, because there's some things that like could they taste different, that I kind of like give them not only the benefit of the doubt, but like I feel like the newness, the novelty of it all, like it really kind of like gets it to have like a higher grade. For example, like the nectarine energy drink that Red Bull released, was it this year or last year? They're still selling it. Like when you go to grocery shopping, you can still find it. But yeah, so like that is pretty unique. I never really seen anything nectarine flavored before. So that was, you know, something that was like, you know what, like this got a higher grade because of that. This here is a type of flavor that you can find like anywhere, so I'm very happy, you know, with this. I really like this flavor. And as far as like, you know, if I don't usually, you know, drink energy drinks because you know, me having ADHD, me being bipolar, like all that. So only when there's like a new flavor, then I usually kind of like drink half the can. I leave the rest, you know, for my dad. So, you know, I don't consume everything. So I wouldn't really just drink it just for the sake of it. But like if I were the type of person who was drinking energy drinks every day, I'll probably get this one. In fact, I think that I'll probably try to mix them up. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I do really enjoy mixing different flavors. So I think that if I mix this one with the previous one, which was, oh my god, I can do this, I still have like some of it. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this up right here, and I'm gonna, no, I can, yeah, like I'm going to get, let me just talk a little bit more about it. So it tastes like candy. So you know, I feel like it would be too sweet for some people, you know, some people, other people think that it's too artificial. But you know, same thing with candy, you know, it tastes like things, but like usually it's the artificial version of that. And you know, it's so something that's really permeated through the culture, because I think that if you showed, you know, like the regular, like real fruit with like a certain, you know, a certain candy flavor in that fruit for somebody like 500 years ago, I don't think they would necessarily find the connection, because there's a lot of things that they are reminiscent of that, but they're not inherently so. So there's that. A moment. I'm back, and I have a little bit left from, you know, like this can, because as I said, I can't drink it too much, so usually I really space out, you know, the amount of stuff I can drink. So there is go to this one, the Doctor, and then I'm gonna add the same amount. And got, you know, it's like a muddy color. Dude, I'll actually give this a better rating than either of those individually. It tastes like some of the other punch flavors, which, you know, usually punch is like a bunch of fruit, so makes sense. But I do think that, you know, like this was very complimentary. Go to the pink one. But I will say that the citric flavor is more dominant. I can barely taste, you know, but I didn't taste like this, because, you know, like as I said, like very clearly I was tasting this, and you know, like the flavor was very defined. And like right now I can't, it's like this is different from like that one, but it's still like not, I know, it's just like it tastes like punch basically, which is kind of like the expected outcome naturally. You know, you mix two things, you have flavor like fruit, then you have punch. But I really like this. I would buy this actually. And also I think that this would be phenomenal if you add like a little vodka, a little cachaça, a little something, and you make kind of like a drink. I think this would kind of like pair really well with that. And I'm kind of like a, you know, like it's hard because I like mixing things up. So, you know, I tried a lot of different things, but I don't know if like people would like it, you know, like people who aren't me, but yeah. So the citric and, you know, the sweet, they kind of like really low-key taste like some medications that you can take. You want they're like orange flavored, this kind of like tastes like that. Kind of crazy because I put like I added more of the strawberry one, and yet like the more dominant flavor is the citric one. So probably not a shock to most people, but I don't know, sometimes you know, maybe it would have been better for me to taste this if I got kind of like a bunch of these and a hint of the other one. But let me finish this. Yeah, it kind of tastes like medication, some, you know, like orange flavored medication. So yeah, so what are my thoughts? This one, I prefer this one. You know, I feel like because I'm used to, also something that I think I should consider is that usually I eat at least like one orange every day, and so like I'm really used to the flavor of actual oranges. So this one here is kind of I know it didn't really hit the target, because I can really tell that it is not, you know, legit, which is kind of like different from this one, because I don't eat strawberries every day, and I mean, you could argue that I don't drink strawberries as often as I possibly could, but usually because of the price, you know, whenever I find it at a good price, I buy them and I eat the strawberries. Usually I end up eating most of them. You know, there's 4 people here in this household, but like I'm the one who, you know, like could like strawberries. That's not my thing, but you know, it is something. So this one, I'll give this a 7. I think that I like the can, I like that I tried it, I don't regret it, but it's pretty basic in a certain way. this one, it feels like more complete, you know, like more wholesome in a certain way. Like it tastes like candy, but you know, in the best way possible, because it's not just like any strawberry candy. There's also the specific ones that I tried that I haven't, you know, I don't consume that much candy in my adult life, in my life these days. But you know, I usually save, you know, like the room I have in my, you know, like the not my room, like the quota I have for sweets. I rather, you know, have chocolate. But you know, when I was a kid, I had more. Also, like it was not like necessarily super often, because my parents, they kind of like really, I mean, not saying that if you let your children eat too much sugar, like that's a bad thing, but my parents, they were like, yeah, let's not you know, go overboard. But yeah, this video is way too long. I'm like looking 10 minutes that just, you know, talking. But yeah, so I really like the can. I really like the color. I will say that when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, it could be a little stronger, you know, stronger shade of pink. But the more I look at it, the more I like it. I think that it goes really well with like the red that we have here. You know, like it looks very whimsical. I really like it. And as I said, I'll give this like an 8.5. I really like this. You know, I thought that it brought back childhood memories basically of this candy. So it's acetylene and Nutella, which is another one that I think it had little yogurt mixed into like that. So yeah, so I'm giving this one a 7. This one is an 8.5. Depending on what I was comparing to, I could give this a higher or lower rating. As far as like Monster energy drinks go, I usually like the ones that are more, you know, they're like punch flavored. So I like the peach ones too. So I think that this is kind of yeah, this is nice. Solid 8.5. I would drink this again. Like if I had to, I don't usually drink energy drinks, you know, too often, but like if I were to drink it again, I would drink this one. This one I tried, I wouldn't. But there's that. Let me wrap this up because this video is already too long. But do I recommend this? I totally recommend it. It tastes like, you know, like kind of like strawberry candy in the best possible way. It doesn't taste too artificial in a way that is kind of like distracting. It just tastes, I think, like the right amount. So that's it. Bye.